gets it done. He does play for a French team. They will be rooting for him, I am sure. But good luck to Scruffy as well. Let's see what happens.
Really nice first cue for Scruffy here. As you can see right before your very eyes, there is a despicable Dreadlord in this control lock, which by default makes it a little bit more favored against Paladin than the regular lists.
It does, and I wonder if he will keep it in the opening hand to make his... the risk you run by having those lackeys pull the Dreadlord can be a bit messy later on. So it'll be interesting to see if he keeps it. Yeah, he's just going to try and clear boards all the way to victory. But Maverick may be able to play around that to some degree in the early game.
Scruffy has ended up with a really good opening here. He's got the Beetle, he's got the Doomsayer to blow up the board when he needs to. And yeah, again, Dreadlord, like you said, to keep clearing these 1/1s. But Maverick's not new to this, right? He knows Scruffy's deck list. He knows how he needs to play the matchup. And Maverick, he knows what he's doing. I expect this to be a very close game.
Yeah, the Dreadlord does throw a spanner in the works. Scruffy here roping because he's trying to work out which turn to play his Doomsayer. He's got plenty of time available to him. Use that time, get yourself settled down into this final and work out which turn is the latest you dare play this Doomsayer.
And seeing that Scruffy is already roping, Maverick just played his turn as quickly as he possibly could. I guess part of his strategy there will be to reduce the amount of time that Scruffy has to make his decision now.
That is a really good spot because Maverick's a pretty slow, considered player in his own right in general. But if he's thinking Scruffy's using that time, yeah, put a bit of pressure on him for your obvious play is absolutely fine. I'm really happy to see that happen.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing it again.
Yep, and you know, sometimes if you've got an unfavored matchup, use everything you can to try and turn it into a chance to win.
Yeah, in addition to that, obviously, if Scruffy's taking a long time every turn, Maverick can use Scruffy's time to think through his play. Yeah, just to tighten that up just a little bit more. Add the pressure to Scruffy, who I'm thinking has to play the Doomsayer this turn.
It's the last chance he's got to play it. He's got to trade into the 1/1, play the Doomsayer, otherwise it will not stick. If he's not playing it now, he's playing it much later in the game, which maybe I think he's considering. You always want to play it as late as you dare, but now's a good time. What he wants to do, though, if he can, which he can't, is play it on turn 4 so he can follow it up with his Dreadlord. What's going to happen here is basically Maverick gets a free turn to equip his weapon, and then Scruffy passes back, and then Maverick fills up the board. So even though this looks great, it might not work out that fantastically.
Maverick has drawn Spellbreaker, though, which doesn't seem ideal. Again, he'd prefer to use it on a Void Lord. However, to take control of this early game, whilst also being able to trade in the Imani Berserker, making it a 5/1, it just looks too good to pass up on right now. And looking at Scruffy's hand, Maverick is going to get heavily rewarded for this.
Yeah, Scruffy, though, his hand is going to have to do the job. I mean, so he's going to like have one turn where Maverick can hit him, and then it will start doing its job really well. I'm not scared of the tap. That's good to see. It's obvious, but again, people do weird things when they're put under pressure for the first time. This
next turn for Maverick is going to be, I imagine, the fastest Blessing of Kings that we've seen all tournament. The question is, which minion does he play it on? Either one is safe to Hellfire, either one is safe to Defile. Which do you prefer?
I think I put it on the 5/1.
I'm looking at the 5/1 as well. I agree with you.
Plays around the Dreadlord.
The Dreadlord, which of course Maverick does know is in the desk. It's been open deck lists the entire tournament. Maverick disagrees, though. He's going to make the highest health minion that he possibly can, which is the other way of doing things. Now Dreadlord comes down, but is not a match for these Spellbreaker.
Okay, so you play the Dreadlord, Maverick plays his weapon, hits you in the face for 13, you're on 4, good luck. That's Maverick's plan.
That is the rest of this, yeah, that is a very good description of the rest of this game. Next turn, Scruffy will have Possessed Lackey plus Dark Pact. And knowing that one Spellbreaker has already been used, I guess he has to go with that and just assume that it's going to allow him to live on just a little bit longer.
Yeah, no fun at all here, though, for Scruffy. There's that second Blessing of Kings as well. Gonna hurt. Gonna hurt a lot.
Oh boy. We're turning this into a 12-10 on turn 5?
Yeah, how does he play around? Is there a way he can get through the Lackey Pact? I mean, there isn't an immediate, obviously, way.
I mean, there's not... Right, right. Before I say anything else, I'm going to check to see if Scruffy runs Siphon Soul, which he does. Scruffy does run one copy of Siphon Soul. And we are going into the 6-mana turn. So that will be something Maverick's thinking about before he does play Blessing of Kings.
Also, you know, your True Silver hits face. It's going to struggle to hit face twice, so it's not that problematic if he wants to keep the Blessing for later.
It's a tough call.
But your 8/6 minion is under a little bit of threat going forwards.
Going to go with what I would call the more of a hedge play, which is the True Silver. Next turn, if there is a Void Lord on the board, then, you know, Spellbreaker plus Consecration would finish that off.
Yeah, and if there isn't this exact play, which there is for Scruffy, Maverick just wins on the spot, but Scruffy is going to be able to play the Lackey into the Pact.
As with all of his other turns so far, Scruffy is going to take his time with this one, and so he should. It's the finals.
Right, I mean, there's not many people who can play quickly and play well, let alone under pressure, and absolutely use your time.
It is the finals of a tour stop. It is the finals of a Dreamhack Grand Prix.
Right.
It is not the time to be rushing out his turns, and some players feel the pressure of the camera and play quicker because of that. It's good to see that Scruffy isn't falling into that trap.
Yeah, and his last couple of plays have seemed reasonably straightforward, but I like to see it. He won't necessarily even be thinking about this turn, he'll be thinking about a couple of turns' time, most likely. Or he might be not thinking at all, he might just be sort of just chilling and getting used to the fact where he is. Right, Spellbreaker for the win. Pretty much.
Didn't quite manage to call it this time, Marinda.
Hasn't picked it up, so now Maverick will start hacking through this Void Lord. This stops it getting faceless, so it's important that it's taken care of immediately.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't sure if he was going to go with the Spellbreaker or with the Blessing of Kings or with the Consecration, but this way the Spellbreaker is now a 12/6. It's going to take 2 of these Voidwalkers and Despicable Dreadlord to deal with. However, Defile picked up off the top means that Scruffy and we have a lot of thinking to do.
You speak for yourself. I don't know what thinking is.
There's no way to make a minion with 2 health, is there?
First thing to point out here is Maverick was okay playing the Loot Hoarder. So he feels that the card he's going to draw from the Dreadlord is you know, more likely than an Awkward Defile.
Yep, I agree with that.
If you give your Dreadlord up and want to defile this board, great. I just play Valanier and start doing the same thing. Plus I draw 2 cards, one for the Loot Hoarder, one for my normal draw.
Yeah, it's
Valanier takes care of you.
It's not worth overthinking the Defile this turn. Anything that allows them to create a 2 health minion would involve trading in the Dreadlord anyway. So this is looking really interesting. I almost expected to see it go on the Spellbreaker there.
He's going to clear the board quite nicely. He's used a lot of resources to do so, but his hand is starting to get to the point where he's not going to take any more damage anytime soon unless Maverick can force it through.
Oh!
There's the Spellbreaker he needed 2 turns ago as Dan cries in anguish.
That is the sound of anguish. I'm still a little bit surprised Scruffy didn't faceless the Spellbreaker last turn and sort of start the counter-attack. However, I guess he believes the 1 damage AoE that this is going to be dealing every single turn makes it worthwhile in itself.
Maverick picks up the Chain Gang, hence the first real think of the game for him. How do I win with this Valanier Chain Gang? What's the process which lets me get this damage through, either immediately or very long term, either or really?
Oh, he's going for immediately, throwing away the last charge of the True Silver Champion and hitting with the Valanier. Next turn, Maverick can play both other minions and guarantee the properly on the Saronite. Of course, that comes with the issue of not having a minion in hand, so not being guaranteed that another minion gets buffed after the Saronite gets played and destroyed.
And depending where he feels he is in this game, he may want to take the 50-50 and not use the Spellbreaker immediately. He may want to save that for after a Gul'dan. If he feels he can't beat a Gul'dan, he'll play them both down and get the buff on the Chain Gang. It all depends how he sees the short term.
Second Cabal Lackey. There's still a Dark Pact in the hand. Second Lackey Pact would be the second Void Lord. And with Gul'dan in the hand ready to go later on, I don't know how Maverick's ever going to get through all of this.
Yeah, I mean, he has got that Spellbreaker. Scruffy knows that's probably not there because there wasn't one there 2 turns ago.
But either way, we're now talking another Void Lord. Later on, we're talking potentially 2 Void Lords and Void Walkers.
And the Dreadlord doing some sterling work here as well. A lot of damage in hand from Maverick, but the 17 health that Scruffy is on.
Ooh,
Certainly
Blood
irritating.
Mage, Thanos.
That would have been nice a moment ago, and it might be nice in a few turns' time to get that valuable 3-point consecration, which takes care of the Void Walkers.
Could also be nice after Gul'dan gets played, which is going to be soon. As okay, the buff hit arguably the wrong one, but Spellbreaker can come down now and silence that Void Lord. Maverick clutching his head in his hand.
I think he was right to take the 50-50 there.
I agree.
Like I was saying a minute ago, he didn't really want to play this Spellbreaker if he could help it, if it's not going to do anything immediately. But this Dreadlord has done a phenomenal amount of work. All the chips the wands would have done have all gone missing, and that's left Maverick 1 or 2 damage short with that consecration, for instance. If he had some 1/1s to bump into the 1/3s, that would have been so much better for him.
Just hitting the Void Lord into the Spellbreaker here and then casting Defile would be a board clear.
But be careful not to give that Valenier back in hand, though, to help it.
That's the issue. Well, it goes straight on the board now, and Scruffy doesn't have a way of defending himself this turn. Come next turn, Gul'dan, 2 Void Lords, 3 Void Walkers. That's and a Despicable Dreadlord too if this one dies. Maverick's going to struggle to get over that. But this turn, this is the tough one.
I mean, Siphon looks like the natural play, so it covers most of the Valenier problem.
I think so too. The Dreadlord deals with everything else. Oh, now you think he's going to Defile, hit in, and then ooze the weapon, which would then buff up the Saronite as well? Nah, it's not worth it.
That would be so awkward for him if he did, but he's in a good spot to just try and finish this game off in a hurry. And suddenly, Maverick has less health than Scruffy. Looking a bit iffy. Okay, so the Equality Avenging Wrath clears it up. He doesn't know Gul'dan is in hand. Worth remembering. It's obvious to us, we can see it, but Maverick may well feel like I can't win if he's got Gul'dan anyway, so I'm going to clear the board. That's what he's going to do. Get a chunk of damage to face, and if he's got Gul'dan, good luck to the man.
Down to 9, yeah. I mean, Maverick is a good hand tracker. He'll know that Scruffy's leftmost card has been sitting there for pretty much the entire game. He'll know the card next to it has as well, the Twisting Nether. And there'll only be so many cards in Scruffy's deck that they could be as Gul'dan hits the board.
Maverick closes his eyes. He knows what this means. Scruffy is almost certain to take a 1-0 lead. One of the things about Scruffy playing a little bit messily in the last game, in the last round, in the semi-finals, means that Maverick probably won't concede games quickly, especially as he picks up this Equality. He's going to make Scruffy sweat for every win, I would suspect, here.
Can't quite do the good old Equality trade-in. Oh, wait, no, it's 2. Sorry, this time it's 2 consecrations, 1 Equality. Doesn't quite have the same effect.
Quality consecration swing, and this time try to win the Chain Gang 50-50.
Yep, that's
Looks like a thing he can do.
6 Void Walkers end up on the board, which is very irritating.
He wins this, though. He may be still in with a chance. There's 6-5. I saw it flicker there, so he has hit the right minion. And this game will continue just a touch longer.
9 health for Maverick, though. Hellfire plus hero power for 2 turns is going to be lethal. And so Scruffy is almost certainly going to hero power the face this turn to set up next turn's Hellfire hero power.
Maverick's used 1 consecration. He's used the Thanos. He's used an Avenging Wrath. It looks like there's no way for him to clear these minions.
Is Consecration Avenging Wrath ever good enough to get him there?
If you say, is it ever? Yes. Is it going to be often enough? Actually, it could be.
It's not unlikely that it clears the entire board.
It's not terrible, right? It gives you a chance.
Until this Appleborn comes down, then it's much worse. And this isn't a board that Maverick can Tarim either. Scruffy's board is a lot bigger than Maverick's, and they all have taunts.
I must feed.
Scruffy obviously pretty nervous. You saw that at the end last time as well. He spent a couple of turns towards the end just making sure and double-checking, triple-checking. It's like me leaving a hotel room. It took him forever just because he didn't want to make any mistakes at all. The end is indeed coming. Maverick find anything that makes this interesting.
True Silver is the only card that buys him 1 more turn. Argent Commander does not do that. Hellfire hero power. Scruffy will be taking the first win of the Grand Finals against Maverick's Even Paladin, which in itself is a big deal. Even Paladin arguably the best deck in this current meta.
Yeah, it's a very powerful deck, of course. Sure, he'll be overly panicking, though.
Yeah, it's not the strongest deck, actually, against Scruffy's entire lineup. I think, actually, that's going to be Maverick's Warlock.
Yes.
Warlock, it can beat the Paladin, can beat the Priest. And can, of course, beat the Mirror, especially if he is to get the Rin sooner than his opponent. So it's the Warlock that is going to be the big one, but Scruffy finally gets there. Maverick, both players actually just making some notes, quick glances at the screen. They are taking this one very seriously.
Yeah, odd that. Funny how it works when you're playing for
actually, it was
even
the Paladin. I just caused Lorenzo to choke on his drink. That's a mistake.
That's hilarious. Okay, so Maverick down to his Rogue and his Warlock, two of the decks we've seen a significant amount of in this tournament. Scruffy having the Paladin alive, of course.
Both of these lineups are pretty standard, actually, have been throughout the...
They are now.
Thing. Other than Scruffy's Warlock, which has Despicable Dreadlord in. That's not something we see
And Maverick's Control Warrior that has Dead Man's Hand ×2 in.
Sorry, I guess I missed that.
That might be a little bit off standard. And it has been the talking point of the tournament. Maverick has made that deck, you know, into this Dreamhack's main focus.
What do you think of Maverick's hand here?
I've seen worse.
I think it's pretty okay.
Yeah, Maverick might do quite well in this game of Hearthstone.
It's a very good matchup, and he has a very good hand. Scruffy, especially being the control build of the deck, no Doom Gods, no cubes, is going to struggle to get past the finish line. However, Maverick is going to get past the finish line quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing that Scruffy can do to stop the likely onslaught of this in the first 5 or 6 turns. The weird thing is Maverick might just do nothing for something like 4 or 5 turns here.
Yeah, and then win the game straight after.
And then win the game straight after.
The thing to note here in this matchup specifically, I guess, is that Maverick is running Valera the Hollow, and Maverick is running Zola the Gorgon, so can later on do the infinite Zola loop and just run Scruffy out of resources.
And he's a shadow step away from this being ridiculous. It's already as close to ridiculous as you can get with 3 cards.
Yep. Elven Minstrel, not bad at all either. Anything that thins out the deck and gets Valera closer to the top can actually be vital in this matchup.
See, with Scruffy, how does he even want to take this on? When does he want to Doomsayer? Again, a key question. Like, you don't... The Rogue doesn't leave things lying around on board very often anyway. So you've got to find a turn where they might. And he's decided, okay, let's do it now. I think I'd rather wait until near quest completion. So that it interferes with Maverick's plans of completing.
Yeah.
You quite often try and leave some minions up before they turn all into 5/5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'd like to see him wait, but I don't mind if he goes for it now.
It's not doing all that much, but it's not really ever going to do all that much, I think, for Scruffy, it's fair to say, in this matchup. So it's fine. It just stalls Maverick for another turn. For all Scruffy
But
knows.
that's the point. It doesn't really stall him. Like, is he just going to play Sonya into a Warlock?
Sure.
I don't think he is.
For all Scruffy knows, it could stop a Novice Engineer, Youthful Brewmaster. I don't know. I agree with you. I'm trying to, come up with a reason for it.
I mean, the reason he may have had is he's going to play Stonehill next turn. Maybe he plays the thing that comes off the Stonehill in the ideal world. Maybe he gets a Shield Master of 3, 4,
or
5.
Saranite or something.
Get some damage done to turn after. So maybe he never gets another chance to play it. Maybe he felt his curve would work out that way in the games that he wins.
2/6, that'll do. That's a 4-drop.
I mean, he may well take that.
Maverick, though, has now 2 boars in his hand, an extra one that doesn't need to be traded in with Sonya. Still no Shadow Step, though. So
Backstab to get rid of this.
The backstab into Elven Minstrel is pretty good.
Yeah, and the key thing with the Minstrel here is he doesn't really need the minions. We can see that, although the Scale Hide's always nice. It's just 2 more cards that he's not going to have to draw off the top of his deck. More chance of getting that Shadow Step, more chance of getting, a Vanish if things somehow get that far.
Coining out the Despicable Dreadlord doesn't look too bad for Scruffy at the moment, just as an easy way of dealing with Elven Minstrel. It also puts some pressure on the board.
I mean, yeah, you've got to put any pressure on you can, because if you let the Rogue just do its thing, you lose the game of Hearthstone. So, yeah, I agree with trying to get some attack in there, but this is the Control Warlock's problem. It can't generate enough damage quickly enough. There's the Shadow Step.
He got it. He actually got it. Okay. So can trade in 2 boars first. then play the Shadow Step, or deckhand, actually. Does this? Wait, this doesn't allow him to clear, does it? It does. No, it doesn't. He's one off. He's one deckhand off.
Wow, that's incredible.
One deckhand off lethal for the Dreadlord.
Yeah, going to complete bits of the quest though. Shadow Step the Sonya back to the hand. It's like the old stealth on Edwin Van Cleef. It's the same sort of thing. You hide it somewhere so they can't get to it, and then it kills you the next turn.
Yeah. Only in this case, it's being hidden in Maverick's hand, and there are no ways currently in Hearthstone to interact with the opponents.
Yeah, no dirty rat to even try and hit this Sonya. She's just going to sit there, then next turn generate as many deck hands as Maverick feels he needs. The quest's going to be complete.
Unless Scruffy doesn't play any minions.
Okay, that is a valid strategy.
In that case, Maverick can only play, well, I guess the 3 deck hands he needs to complete the quest. So never mind, it's not good enough.
So unless he defiles his own Dreadlord for one,
or
to
Dark
take
Packs,
the chip off it.
Or Dark Packs, that's the other option.
Yeah.
But then Scruffy's just not playing minions, and how does he win the game that way?
Right, the difference by defiling for 1 would mean that the minions are still on the board as a 4-1. Okay. So do you want to Sonya it, go for it. It wouldn't help, as we can see. I'm just throwing out things that would be cute, that would be fun.
He's going to do it. He's going to actually...
No, but he's killed it with the Defiler.
Yeah,
I was suggesting maybe just take it down to 4-1, at least make the Rogue take some more damage.
Sure, but I guess the problem is with that is that as soon as there's one Shadow Step in hand, suddenly the quest is complete anyway. Scruffy actually just clear the entire board.
Yeah, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. He has Lackey into Dark Pack next turn, which is why he couldn't Dark Pact it.
Yep. Okay, I see the logic. Rin doesn't really do all that much against Quest Rogue. There's no way Scruffy is going to have a chance to play all of the seals and blow up Maverick's deck.
It does make minions that you're short on sometimes. He's not short on them at the moment. You'd rather have a 3-9, of course. But yeah, Rin's a body. Rin makes more bodies.
Is there any world in which Scruffy just plays nothing and doesn't let the quest be complete? I don't think so. He never wins that way.
You've got to try and win at some point. I think this is that point. We've seen people do nothing for long periods of time in this sort of situation, and you just lose. It's the same as some of the old Hunter situations you used to get. I can't remember which they were exactly, so I'm going to stop there.
Well, there you go. 1 mana Sonya. Now you can see just how powerful this card is. No preparation present in Maverick's hand, so he cannot activate the quest this turn, which may make Scruffy breathe a sigh of relief, as the preparation is what some would argue does make this quest really, really powerful.
Yeah, he's got so many good cards in his hand for the turn when he plays it, though. Got to be a bit careful for now. There's one way the Control Warlock can sometimes win is to run you out of stuff. But again, I say that every time, and every time I remember, this is Valera, Zola the Gorgon. You can't win that way. You can, in a non-Valera version, the Warlock can just keep putting up a wall, and the Rogue does run out of minions sometimes. With the Valera version and the infinite Gorgon silliness, that never happens.
Maverick's just going to keep putting deck hands, and there's no reason to just stop playing cards because it just ends up back in the hand anyway, so it's free damage dealt.
Yeah. These are which ones you want to use.
But now it's crazy quest, 2 charges in the hand, sorry, 3 charges in hand, 2 boards, 1 deck hand, and then even a rush minion. How does Scruffy win this long term? How does he beat Valera and Zola the Gorgon?
Long. Yeah, going to be very difficult, which is why Rogue has been banned and banned and banned in this tournament. We've seen quite a lot of it because sometimes the lineups don't work out right, but Quest Rogue has been the dominating deck along with the Paladin in this tournament. And that's been the interesting issue that very few people have solved. I think Glazer's lineup solved it a little bit, where he always banned Paladin, but working out a coherent ban strategy against all these decks, many of which are polarized against whatever you try to do.
We've been told by pro players on Twitter today, such as Zixo, shouldn't be underestimating Quest Rogue. It can win against anything. It can reverse sweep. It can beat a full aggro lineup. It can do whatever it needs to do. And
we saw that with X-Blizz in his quarterfinal.
Yeah.
He beat Odd Rogue with it. You know.
Exactly. So, you know, it's... Although this is a matchup that obviously the Quest Rogue should be winning, That doesn't mean it's going to lose the ones it should be losing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad against aggro, though. I know Zigzo has always been an advocate of Quest Rogue, and he was one of the best players of it in the first iteration. He was. I mean, I saw him win without playing the Quest in one game in the olden days.
Well, that is pretty special.
Made a load of nonsense minions and smashed the opponent in the face with them like 4 times. That was at a Dreamhack as well. That was at last year's summer.
Huh?
But overall, I understand that sentiment, but I'm happy to say that I think we've seen Rogue beat aggro twice. Orange won with it against Paladin, and then Explosives won with it against Odd Rogue. I think that's all we've really seen. And we've seen a lot of Rogue.
Almost out of time.
Siphon Soul is the only easy way of dealing with that Wax Elemental. It's so frustrating, though. Can't even really deal damage to Maverick thanks to the lifesteal on this Scale Hide. And yeah, now Scruffy just has a Void Lord defending himself. In fairness, Void Lord does do a very good job at defending against charging 5/5s.
It does for a while, and then it just vanishes into the unknown, and that's the end of that. So Maverick probably will set up a lethal from hand over the next couple of turns here. Just play Vanish, or prep Vanish, and then smash 30 to the face in one go.
Okay.
I hope you like
There's plenty of other things he can do as well in the meantime. But he'll be assembling the parts to do that.
Like the Mimic Pod. Glacial Shard, not bad at all. I mean, 1-mana 5/5s tend to be pretty good cards.
Yeah, he's looking for the bounce, though. He's looking for the charge to try and get that all done at once. But yeah, sure. I mean, 1-mana 5/5s seem reasonable. The shards and stuff are just going to be used to slow things down, present some boards, get rid of the Void Lord without having to vanish it, hope they don't have cooldown, then you don't even need to mess around with the vanish plan. But, you know, against Twisting Nethers and stuff, you do have to be a bit careful, and that's why, even with this amazing start, it's possible it still goes to Valeras and other stuff later on. There's no particular hurry. The Warlock can't pressure you, that's the problem.
The Warlock just can't do anything. It sort of flails about aimlessly.
But without the Valera, it can flail itself so you win in fatigue. The
Yeah, if Valera is the bottom card, I guess,
flailing.
then yeah. But like this turn, what does Scruffy do about this? Does he play Twisting Nether? I guess probably. It's the only way
the thing is, he
does
doesn't want to lose his Void Lord, and Twisting Nether still gets rid of that. But yeah, it's like you say, what do you do about this? It's no fun whatsoever.
The Void Lord does take 5 minions to trade into it, including the Void Walkers, in order to deal with everything, I guess. Or a Vanish. As you said, these Void Lords do tend to just disappear mysteriously.
So many possibilities.
And full of stuff as well. Scruffy's going to have to start playing things. Okay, so you say the Rin doesn't do much. Here's the plan. My opponent doesn't have Valera. I draw Gul'dan really soon. I stop the Gorgon plan by blowing up your deck.
Okay.
Ambitious.
It is. It's very ambitious. Hiding the seals behind the Void Lord is the only way to do that, as Maverick picks up a Shadow Step. We're looking at 20 damage represented in the hand without the Vanish.
Yes, I mean, we're looking at ambitious lines for the Warlock because it doesn't have lines that aren't ambitious right now. Maverick's situation here, obviously, is to gather the charges, keep them with the Vanish, keep them with the Prep, and find a way to make sure the other minions keep representing a threat, which, for 1 mana and 5/5, as you said a minute ago, they probably will find ways to keep representing a threat because they are big and chunky.
Right.
They all have a Blessing of Kings attached when you play them.
Yeah. That is one way of looking at it. Oh, I'm glad Paladin minions don't have
That's
that.
what I'm saying, like, Paladin Hero Power plus Blessing of Kings is a bit awkward for Warlock.
Is Sap lethal? With the Vanish as well, but there's not time?
I think you're right. Good job one of us is awake.
Look at
Talking
that.
about Paladins.
Oh, we can see we've got the best perspective of what's going on by looking at Maverick's hand. He emptied it in time. He's relaxing in his chair. The screen is shaking. It looks like Maverick just about found the time to win the game this turn, taking his first win of the series. That sap may have just ruined Scruffy's day a little bit. Again, he was going to lose the matchup anyway, but that surely sped up the process.
It did. I didn't have to keep looking for awkward win conditions using Rin. Actually got that right for once.
Wait, are you saying every time you say Rin condition, it's a mistake?
Well, I mean, I just can't tell the two apart anyway with my accent, so I'm not actually memeing every time I say it. Yeah.
Oh,
it's just
my mistake.
How I speak.
But anyways, that ties it up. It's no doubt Scruffy is going to bring out the Paladin next game, as it stands a much better chance than the Priest does against Quest Rogue. But yeah, Scruffy is going to need to watch out.
He is, and Maverick, these are the sort of games where the pros versus the good players have a very big advantage. You can turn those low percentage wins into low percentage plus 10 or even 20 by knowing matchups really well. And he has Sonya in his hand again. He has backstab. He has a deck hand. That looks good.
It's about as good as it can get, isn't it? Backstab buys Maverick a significant amount of time, even if it's just killing this acidic swamp ooze. That's fantastic. That's 3 damage every turn that Maverick suddenly doesn't need to take.
If you could find a Vanish to go with that lot, just to clear up any clutter the Paladin may start to generate.
And I think vitally as well as Shadow Step, so that again he can repeat the Sonya win condition as quickly as possible.
Curious to see if he coins Dagger here, or if you're going to save that coin for a potential bounce later on, and he's just going to save it. I've seen people coin Dagger quite a bit, and it just doesn't seem to get there very often. It always feels like it's okay, but it never seems to quite make it over the line. Pep as well. A lot of the pieces coming together here from Maverick for a quick completion. Needs a little bit of control with the Vanish to go with it. Okay, take the Dagger to the 1-1 now. Only 1 extra damage taken, preserved his coin. Seems like a good deal to me.
Yeah, it worked out. Maverick just has to buy himself as much time as possible. That's how he wins this matchup. There's no rush to get minions out on the board. He just needs to wait, find the perfect time to complete the quest, and then hopefully draw a Scale Hide or two to get his life total, his health total rather, back up.
Yeah, and Scruffy deciding to cost Maverick some mana, protect himself a little bit from those deck hands. The timing of that is very difficult, but wants to get the damage on the board at the end of the day as well. 6 points of damage coming in. Mimic Pod, what can we find?
What can he find for the Mimic Pod?
I mean, Vanish should be quite entertaining because he can then keep the thing under control for some time.
Shadow Step's not looking too bad either from Mimic Pod, nor would a Glacial Shard, just to buy him a little bit of time there.
Yeah, I think Glacial Shard would possibly struggle, but maybe it'd be okay, actually.
You're right, it struggles with the 1/1s. But look at that. First deckhand comes down, can't even charge in, but
yeah,
it allows Maverick to put this 3-2 on the board, potentially contesting the Imani Berserker.
And
that's
it is,
the problem.
Yeah, there was no True Silver and no Blessing. It looked like it was going to be okay for Maverick there. But yeah, the call to arms now, unless a Vanish is found, starts making the world look a nastier place.
Gets the Knife Juggler as well. Such a key card in this matchup because it's so resilient to the Vanish. It goes back on the board, throws plenty of knives immediately.
He juggles them.
Sorry.
Into your face.
Sorry, Lorinda. He juggles plenty of knives immediately into Maverick's face. Better?
Thank you. Like me trying to be a waiter, I just juggle plates at people.
That I would like to see.
Would be entertaining. Problem for Maverick. Doesn't really want to do the Sonya thing, but is getting to the point where he may have to just to stay alive. Won't do it this turn, I don't think, but...
Doesn't complete the quest this turn. He's only played the deckhand once. He can only play it twice this turn, which means 4th time would be next turn. He'd need 1 more bouncer to complete the quest after that. I guess he could have played the Sonya first and actually returned the Panda to his hand as well.
Taking care of enough stuff out there. Avenging Wrath, obviously. 2 of those is a lot more damage lining up.
No playable card in his hand, though. Well, no card that actually does anything, I should say. The equality is playable.
Sure, yeah.
Glowing green. But he can't actually add anything to the board, so it's going to have to be just a hero power.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Not ideal, and gives Maverick a glimmer of hope. Can he pick up something to help him here? Scruffy's counting away quite merrily here. He's getting close. And it'll be a relief for him if he can get this done, obviously. All right, here's Sonya. Otherwise, Maverick dies, so he has to do it.
It's good here anyways, because he gets 3 deckhands, assuming he's willing to use the coin, which means the 5th and final deckhand will be in his hand, ready to go next turn with a prepped out quest, or crystal core. So Maverick is in a pretty good position to win this game, actually, despite the fact he's about to take a lot of damage from Avenging Wrath.
A lot of damage.
If Maverick can pick up a Vicious Scalehide, he has a
Gives
shot.
him a chance. Tarim here does deal with the Sonya and put 3 damage to face.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
True Silver's pretty similar.
Tarim's so good after the quest is complete, though. Oh, he's gone for it.
It's going to try and kill him before the quest does anything. Sets up lethal going into next turn, multiple different ways. So first of all here for Scruffy, Maverick has to have prep to even achieve anything.
And he's just picked up the Panda as well. So prep, quest, Panda, deckhand will allow Maverick to deal with Sunkeeper Tarim, leaving only 6 damage on the board. Avenging Wrath would still be lethal, I believe, though.
Drink with me, friend.
Yeah. Oh, no, because the Panda absorbs the damage. 1 mana off a quality Avenging Wrath. So actually, I mean, it could be lethal, but it's pretty unlikely.
Could be lethal, but a lot of those have to go face, yeah.
Yeah.
But he can put Maverick down to 2. I wonder if he'll consider trading in his minions so that Scalehide can't happen, because he doesn't know the hand like we do.
That is definitely interesting, though. Trading in the minions...
Trading the minions,
means he's not
play
doing
Avenging
damage.
Wrath on board.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Hit that to the face, next turn a quality Avenging Wrath for the rest.
I completely agree. I like that.
And then your opponent can't gain health with the Scalehide, and you're threatening to do 16 damage over 2 turns. Does that work? Am I missing something?
I think so.
Biff, hit you for 6. Maverick is on 12, yeah? My eyesight isn't failing.
That's definitely the number 12.
And hit you for 8. Then next turn, a quality Avenging Wrath. If my opponent has 5 minions, they stop it. He doesn't. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Maverick to come up with 5 minions next turn. I guess Wax Elemental counts as 2 minions.
Yeah, and then the Avenging Wrath has to hit them all.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not that many minions, actually. Yeah, it is because of quality. Yeah, it is. So maybe Wax Elemental, like you say, counts as 2. Scruffy's found what he feels is a different way of doing this.
Okay, so he can still a quality Avenging Wrath next turn.
Sure.
Make Scalehide a lot
Now
more of a threat.
Scalehide gives a big chance. Scalehide and a bounce effect
Yeah.
would give Maverick a lot of health back.
Or
I think I preferred my way with no minions on board for the Scalehides.
Or 2 Scalehides from a Mimic Pod, potentially. He would just about have the mana to play that. Would put Maverick back on 12, dealing with the 2 more powerful minions. 3, 7, 11 damage the following turn. It wouldn't be lethal, but that's not Scalehide, so the theory crafting can end as Maverick concedes. Scruffy takes his 2nd win of the series. He is 1 game away from taking the entire tournament. Lorinda, how must he be feeling right now?
Terrified, I should think. It's so hard to stay in the moment, as they say in a lot of events. You've got to not think about it. You've got to think this is just another game of Hearthstone against another player. I've got this far. I've beaten plenty of good players along the way. Just keep playing how I can play. But you can see he's finding that quite difficult.
He has to deal with Maverick's Control Warlock, which I know we've given the Dead Man's Hand Warrior a lot of attention during the course of the tournament and today specifically. But that Warlock earlier on, that was the deck that got the sweep. And actually, I would argue it's favored against both the Paladin and even potentially the Priest.
I think so. I think Maverick's still nowhere near out of this. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I think that Warlock versus Priest, I want to be on the side of Maverick versus the non-pro. I don't care which one he picks.
Okay.
I think the Warlock's better, but if he was on the other side, I think he's better still. It's one of those games where
that is entirely fair.
There's a lot of intricate stuff going on, and if you mess one up, you lose the game. So Maverick with a decent-looking start here as well.
Quick reminder as to what Maverick's Warlock looks like. He's running 1 copy of Voodoo Doll. He is not running a Shroom, which is a little bit different. It's a much more defensive build. He's running 2 copies of Twisting Nether along with Lord Godfrey. So it's a real grind his opponent out version of the deck. Obviously, he's running Rin the First Disciple.
Boom Brewer is really important when it gets to that game 5, if you can take it there as well.
Yeah.
Just a way of getting all that extra health in case you get geisted.
Yep.
So, got to get through this one first, though. Scruffy with not the ideal curve. Using to meet out the resources so the beetle comes down alongside a third dude on next turn. So it means you do less damage to the face in the short term, but in the long term you have one extra dude. It's quite a difficult choice, actually.
It's really difficult the first few turns as Paladin.
It's where the game's won and lost as well, unless you have Valor Near, which doesn't count as a...
Knowing how many minions to put in, how many threats to put into a potential Defile or Hellfire board, or Doomsayer, is it's really tough. As Scruffy now Plated Beetle or Knife Juggler, both are weak to Defile thanks to the board that currently exists. It's going to go with
Beetle.
Reporting for battle.
Everything's going face. Oh, no, of course, he's dealing with the Librarian.
Does walk into a potential Defile here, though, if the Beetle hits one of the 1/1s, so going to escape that one for now. Well, there's 3 cards that we see quite a lot of.
Well, when you're looking at Warlock Discovers, there you go. How good is Rin in this matchup, though? I don't think it's as good as potentially either of the other two.
Yeah, I think Rin's okay, but I think Void Lord is better. Maverick needs to check his hand and think ahead. Can I get to 9 safely, though? They have 2 Spellbreakers, I have 3 Void Lord.
Yeah.
That sounds good, and that's what he's gone with.
And that's where potentially the Void Walker may have come in
Sure.
if you know, Maverick felt like he could squeeze it in one turn. Blessing of Kings is a great pickup for Scruffy, though. He's able to buff up the 1/1, trade with the Stonehold Defender, trade the Beetle into the other Beetle, and that leaves him with a 5/4 on the board, out of Hellfire range.
Yeah, Maverick has no removal particularly. I guess he's got the Dole Mortal Coil combo, but
Yeah.
we've seen all the way through Maverick just incredibly reluctant to play these owls outside of Valor territory. All the way through this tournament, that's been an absolute staple of his play. And happy to take that down with the Mortal Coil combo. Hellfire. You keep Hellfire in your mulligan?
Against Paladin?
Yeah.
I think so.
I do too. Apparently, the stats say that Hellfire in your opening hand against Paladin lowers your win rate. I saw somewhere today.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it was Sifka who pointed that one out. Doesn't necessarily mean it's incorrect, because the stats don't always tell the truth.
No,
Depending how you play. But yeah, one small thing worth keeping an eye on.
Scruffy's turn there was a little bit underwhelming. Just able to use... Having to float 2 mana in an even Paladin deck doesn't feel good at all. Puts out the Knife Juggler. This turn is weak to pretty much everything. Hellfire, Defile, even Doomsayer.
Oh yes, they'll serve me.
And Maverick just decides to take the opportunity to drop the Lackey.
Maverick just does never panic. He just says, okay, we've seen it all the way through. This board doesn't scare me. What are you going to do about it?
He's going to Spellbreaker it. That's what he's going to do
I'm
about
going to
it.
Hellfire your board and off you go again.
Yeah.
Maverick has been very good at just realising when he's under pressure and realising when the pressure looks scary but isn't that bad. But he is in a bit of a pickle shortly.
Yeah, I mean, if Maverick wants to, he can just Hellfire and Doomsayer. He may even decide that's too much of an overcommittal of resources, but no, he's going to do it.
I think he's going to get no chance to use the Doomsayer. The Doomsayer
Yeah.
sucks up any Avenging Wrath nonsense as well, which is nice.
That's true. Going into turn 7.
No weapon for Scruffy.
No, yeah, Valor at this point in the game would actually be incredible. Bashing the face for 4 now, and then again next turn with the follow-up of the Argent Commander.
Like normally on the Doomsayer turn as well, you want to play a weapon so you don't waste your turn.
Yep.
That's kind of how you avoid being...
Scruffy just floated
dumped.
7 mana.
Yeah, exactly. It just achieves absolutely nothing. Definitely should make the 1/1 to only float 6. Makes no difference, obviously. Spellstone going to get buffed by the Librarian, so getting the use out of that. And any second now as he picks up the Sack Pact, which is really useful because not only...
Oh, I completely forgot about the Sack Pact in this deck, yeah.
Not only do you get to gain the 5 health, but you get to spread your Void Lord about, which he's not very good if he gets that second silence on him. But when he's got all the 1-3s with Gul'dan coming up, that's when things usually start to change in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we hadn't really talked about the Sacrificial Pact earlier on today. It's that it can be played on the Gul'dan turn to heal for 10 rather than just to heal for 5 immediately. It can feel less risky. Is this a double call to arms? Now that the Knife Juggle has been summoned, it must be tempting. Also thinning out the deck and just leaving Scruffy with the big stuff like Valanir, like Saronite.
Yeah, Godfrey says, hi, how are you?
Again, I believe Scruffy is... Yeah, Scruffy's running one Saronite Chain Gang and one Glass Knight. Unlike X-Blizers that actually ran a copy of the Lich King.
12 is a safe enough number that you can afford to Godfrey and take your time. Then next turn you can play Void Lord Sack Pack. Turn after that you can play Gul'dan. And then after that, Scruffy is in. I need more equalities territory. Or Valanir.
It's a card. Again, with only Argent Commander in hand as the only available minion, that's not a bad combination. 2 Consecrations and 2 Avenging Wraths. The damage is really stacking up.
Yeah, it is stacking up indeed. Obviously, the Void Lord can be sack-pacted, and there are double Spellstones if you go the minion route. At least one of them has been buffed.
Let me think.
Yeah, the leftmost one is 5. The rightmost one is 3 by the looks of things.
But an equality going to Scruffy's hand to guarantee the Avenging Wrath damage would really give him a lot of damage. This is so much pain coming up.
That does seem to be the biggest gap that Scruffy has at the moment that he's yearning for. It's just one equality so that Avenging Wrath deals something along the lines of 6 damage, even with minions around.
Right on the edge of taking him to the trophy for Dreamhack, but he's got a lot of work to do yet. With Maverick about to start gaining health and starting to turn the corner. Can he get around the corner, though?
And the first Disciple isn't going to do all that much, so it's just got to be a Void Lord turn, the one that came from Stonehill Defender earlier on. And now, Scruffy still doesn't have a quality, but with the Sack Pact, double Consecration is a board clear. Valanir can go face. That's 8 damage. Plated Beetle will generate 3 armor for Maverick, but still, this is a... Again, it's just adding up so quickly. Maybe Consecration Avenging Wrath is the play this turn, actually.
These Spellstones are really useless against this particular hand. Of course they're not useless. He can gain health with them by killing his own minions. They will do a lot of work.
Well, when Argent Commander comes down, it can be silenced and Spellstoned, I guess.
Again, that's not fun. It can. You want to silence it with the Valanir. Okay, fair enough. That works. Scruffy's thinking about what you just said. Do I want to do an Avenging Wrath here? But
I think Consecration is better. Although, is Consecration more valuable to hold on to? That's the real question. Scruffy says yes.
Hold on to your hats, because if he does this, to be mana efficient in particular,
Move quickly.
there's a very good chance he clears, but this can go wrong.
Okay,
but doesn't.
Didn't quite go wrong. Weapon Swing going to put Maverick down to 7, buffing one of the Argent Commanders.
For justice.
Goes back to 12 instantly with the Blood Reaver Gul'dan, though, and then he can start using those Spellstones to his advantage. So unless Scruffy can find something incredible that I can't think what it would be next turn.
Gul'dan is the one card Scruffy does not want to see as he lowers his head immediately.
To be fair, he was taking a note.
He was.
Which is pretty professional when you're on match point at Dreamhack and your opponent just does something you don't like.
A quality Avenging Wrath would be only 4 damage to the face right now, leaving Maverick on 8 health. So as exciting as it looks, it's not quite going to get him there, but it's, you know, he's piecing the tools together. He's getting closer.
But the problem is now the Gul'dan Hero Power is negating one of the cards of Scruffy every turn, pretty much.
Yep.
Alongside those 2 Spellstones, Maverick looks to have been able to get this done. It's not over yet, though, by a long chalk. There's Argent Commanders trying to go face. And Scruffy has a lot of direct damage with which to at least try to make that happen.
This is really tricky. Argent Commander into the Void Lord, followed by Consecration this turn, would set up quality Avenging Wrath, but it's not dealing enough damage to the face.
Right.
Scruffy's running out of time, though. He has to make his decision.
And it's really difficult. I mean, I think you can think about this for a while and say, how do I do this? But you've got to do what you see when it gets to this point.
Okay.
He's going to make a giant minion.
However,
which is going to probably get Silent Spellstone.
Exactly. Ironbeak Owl is just going to be devastating for Scruffy here, as is the Spellstone.
Oh, there's the Dark Pact as well, just in case Maverick was having thoughts about trying to lose this game anyhow. And
Quick
that will
nod
get the
from
work
Scruffy.
done. Not messing around with the Dark Pact here. I want 8. There you go, Scruffy. Now you're in trouble. Well, now you know you're in trouble. You thought you were in trouble before. This has been confirmed. And Maverick not that far off actually just killing Scruffy as well.
No, and this is where Maverick is well and truly over the hurdle here. And this, again, just illustrates the strength of Blood Reaver Gul'dan when used in combination with Void Lords. Sacrificial Pact really did its job this game as well. Scruffy, just the combination of cards isn't good enough. Equality Consecration plus Avenging Wrath together might be an okay turn, but funnily enough, he doesn't have 12 mana.
Yeah, it's a shame that. If only he was in chat right now, he'd have plenty of mana available to him, and it would be a totally different game. Looking like going to 2-2, and looking like it's nowhere near over in terms of time, because that Warlock versus Priest match that could be coming up is a really long one. Speaking a bit quickly, though, obviously, running out of taunts here apart from Rin.
Yeah, the issue is that Maverick can play, Spellstone and Hero Power this turn. He's healing up. He's almost back at 30 again. He's at 21. He will be almost on 30 next turn. And just, Scruffy can't deal 30 damage a second time. He just can't.
Doomsayer looks good here as well.
Yeah, just hide Doomsayer behind a taunt. Why not? Maybe he doesn't even have to play the Doomsayer.
I don't think he has to, and he's not going to, actually. Yeah. Why would I think that Maverick was going to play something he didn't need to play?
All throughout this tournament, he has been showing how valuable it is to hold these resources back, especially Twisting Nether. We talked about this a lot just this morning, but the way he uses his Twisting Nether in this Warlock deck is really, really quite respectable.
Yeah, Zombie showed the same thing at Dreamhack Winter. The top control players are so sensibly greedy with their removal. They find ways to say, okay, that doesn't bother me. Okay, that doesn't bother me. I look at those cards, they're going to kill me. I need to blow them up. They just go, no. I just get around it by making a card that challenges them next turn.
Right.
Keep my removal spell back. And the end is in sight here from Maverick. It's going to go to 2-all almost certainly now. We've said that for a few turns, but we can now see this empty board versus Scruffy actually behind on health. Yeah,
he's just stabilizing himself more and more every single turn. The Glass Knight, in theory, it's a good card against Warlock, but it's not good against a combination of Hellfire plus Hero Power or 2 Spellstones or whatever he wants to do. The benefit of playing the Hellfire here is that it buffs both of these Spellstones. Hero Power will finish the job against the Glass Knight, and then that's 12 more healing in Maverick's hand, in addition to the 3 every single turn. And there's the second equality. It's not good enough. We are going all the way to Game 5 of the Grand Finals here at Dreamhack Tour. Lorinda, who is going to win it? Who can win this Warlock mirror?
Warlock versus Priest, actually.
Oh, sorry, Warlock versus Priest.
You know what I think? This is going to be the Warlock. I thought Maverick will get this done. I think he will get this done. And how would you like to be Belgium's Hearthstone Global Games team after this tournament? Maverick, Chinoise? Seems to be going quite well.
That's a pretty good start,
isn't it? That's a good starting point, right? Obviously, a team last year, but yeah, 2 of the best players at this event. Looking at Scruffy's Priest really quick, just as we jump into the game, he is running 1 copy of Holy Fire. He is not running a Life Drinker. So a little bit lower on the damage than maybe some of the Priest decks that we've seen. However, Skulking Geist, I believe, is one of the big cards of the matchup for him. Yeah, it won't hit Sacrificial Pact, but removing the 16 potential healing of the Dark Pacts can swing this matchup from one side to the other. And a Maverick's list, have you got that available?
Yeah.
There's no Shroom Brewer, right?
There are no Shroom Brewers in Maverick's.
Which is a big deal if that Geist can do its thing.
Again, 1 Sacrificial Pact that sort of fills one of those slots, but yeah, not 2.
So it means Maverick's got to be a little bit more careful than usual to not use any removal after the before the Alexstrasza, but maybe the Dark Pacts are a special case.
He'll want to use those as soon as he possibly can get value out of them.
He doesn't want to waste them, but also he doesn't want them to get wasted for him by guys just chomping them up.
Is that what it does? It does, it chomps?
I think so. The guys do.
Second Psychic Scream pickup from Scruffy. Not the most incredible draw in this deck, or card to have 2 copies of. But, you know, if Maverick does end up with a big board of Void Lords and Void Walkers, it can just make a problem go away temporarily.
The problem is you end up close to fatigue so often that you just do not want to put anything in, like you said, temporarily, but the problem comes back that you die in fatigue.
And you cause another problem, as you were saying.
But the first problem of the game is going to be presented now here by Scruffy. It looks like he's going to coin out Twilight Drake, and if he can hit twice with it, maybe he can cause some damage that needs to be healed, which is a big deal.
Again, as we've been seeing, Maverick has 1 copy of Ironbeak Owl, so it's not as simple as, you know, he doesn't have 2 copies of a Silence card. He can't easily deal with Twilight Drake. In fact, it doesn't look like he can deal with this Twilight Drake in any way whatsoever, unless he wants to just drop the Doomsayer.
Yeah.
Which won't quite do it, because Duskbreaker in Scruffy's hand does have the Alexstrasza to proc it.
Yeah, and you probably want to do that. You can put 7 attack on the board and force another card out of Maverick's hand. And it's early enough before that minion removal really kicks in. Get it down there before those Godfreys, before those Twisting Nethers could do their work. And you can force some of this removal out of hand. Nothing too terminal, though. Maverick finding a decent way to clear. The thing is, against the Priest early on, if you waste a bit of removal, it's not too much of a disaster, because there's not that much to worry about later on. There's Alexstrasza, there's Primordial Drake, there's the second Twilight Drake. There's not that much more, so you can be a little bit more liberal than usual in making sure you clear stuff up.
2 powered shield draws. I mean, that's pretty good just for cycling through the deck. Scruffy wants to get to his Mind Blasts. Getting 4 copies of Mind Blasts is one way that Priest can just blow out this matchup.
No Dark Pact here. Maverick's fishing for that, not only because of the guys, but because now he has the Lackey in hand.
Buffing both Spellstones as well with Librarian, obviously very helpful. And look at that, Cabal Shadow Priest, maybe using that to take the Lackey and prevent a Void Lord from coming out now is just the way Scruffy goes with this. Obviously, it can be used in combination with the Twilight Acolyte when a Void Lord is on the board to take that away.
And he knows there's probably no Dark Pact right now because it didn't get played, and
that's true.
In that situation it would. And the Librarian was another clue. It was like Maverick fishing through his deck as quickly as possible.
Yep.
But still might be tempted to take it, but isn't.
He's not now. I guess this way Scruffy can draw yet another card by healing up the Pyromancer.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to attack in to the Cabal Lackey. There's actually no need to do that. And now, a little bit later, he can play the Twilight Acolyte with the Cabal Shadow Priest. Extra benefit to doing it that way around is that it won't come back from Gul'dan afterwards.
Second Northshire.
Do you ever go for Northshire?
I mean, yeah, it's the meme that you only don't do it in the mirror match because you can lose because of it. Yeah, Maverick's blowing up everything, making himself a nice, tasty Void Lord as well.
Not bad at all. Maybe this is a Psychic Scream board, though. Oh, Skulking Geist picked up off the top there. No Dark Pacts played, so Scruffy is going to get the full benefit of this card if he plays it immediately. It looks like that's what he's going to do.
It does. He's used 1 shield, right? Has he used both?
He's used both.
So there's absolutely no problem. We saw a game earlier that may have gone differently had he not blown up his own shields, but yeah, Scruffy getting rid of those Dark Pacts.
Ooh, that is so juicy for Scruffy, and a big problem for Maverick, who already finds himself down at 16 health.
Yeah, there's been no Shadow Visions played, so no huge panic from that point of view.
No pressure just yet. And 2 Spellstones still in hand. One of them buffed all the way, one of them buffed once.
Won't really want to go to the Rin plan, but also maybe he'll feel he should. And Rin is pressure of some sort.
What's the disadvantage to playing Rin this turn? The disadvantage to playing Rin is that he can't kill it. And Twilight Acolyte, Cabal Shadow Priest isn't something that can happen this turn, but can happen come turn 9, and that would be an issue for Maverick.
See what he chooses to do. He's generated a little bit of pressure. Can he find a way to hold on to that without wasting these heals? The reason he doesn't want to heal immediately, obviously, is because if Alexstrasza comes down, it's all undone in one go. He feels he's not going to die yet. There's no Anduin. He hasn't seen the shadow visions. No reason to believe he's in any trouble, and he'd be right. He's not in any trouble.
Hey, he's going to play the Rin. He knows that the Twilight Acolyte Cabal Shadow Priest is in the deck, but that it costs 9. Scruffy only has 8 mana available to him this turn, and Maverick can just Twisting Nether next turn or Spellstone it. So actually, this is a safe enough way, I believe, of playing Rin.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you lose it, you lose it. It's going to start doing its thing. But
Okay, well, Master Spell sort of makes him lose it, but he would have to take it at the cost of Mind Blast. I think he has to take the Mind Blast.
yeah, you take the Mind Blast, I'm sure. I'm quite happy with this.
That's 1. 3 remaining.
Yeah, if you can get to 20, obviously that's a big deal. Maverick can afford to take less damage than previously now as well. He knows the Shadow Vision's been played, so doesn't really want to tap at this position. As he could just die to the 2... Oh, he knows it's not there yet, but after the next card is drawn, it could be at any time.
Looks like Maverick going to go for the Spellstone there on Rin. I was wondering if he'd just play the Spellstone and then play the first seal immediately. Looks like Maverick's going to play the Defile instead and the less upgraded Spellstone. Okay.
Yep, saving that 7 health for emergencies later on.
Makes sense.
Well, the emergency that is coming, which is Alexstrasza, that's just a built-in emergency. And he is going to try and do the seal thing, I think. Okay, so 19 health. Scruffy doesn't have a way to exploit his Alexstrasza right now, so he won't risk giving Maverick more time to get the healing sorted. Scruffy's actually just going to draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah, I mean, he had to play the Mind Blast to do that, but it's not the end of the world. He's still got to deal 5 damage, and drawing 2 more cards as a result makes it worthwhile. That is the first natural Mind Blast in the deck. The first one came from Shadow Visions, so Scruffy still has the potential at a triple Mind Blast turn at some point.
And I think he's going to need it because Maverick has that Sack Pact, which is making up for the Shroom to some degree. And it also doesn't get Geisted, as well as having that 7 healing Spellstone, as well as a Beetle. Again, even the Beetle, he won't want to play until the board is on his side, which usually happens. You usually end up with getting the board in your side eventually. He needs Gul'dan. If you get Gul'dan down, you just win the game because then you just heal out of sight all the time.
Yeah.
That's why he's been tapping so aggressively.
Oh, this in itself is a hard turn for Maverick. Which resources does he use? He can't afford to take any minion damage, but doesn't really want to play Twisting Nether if he can help it. Is he going to play Beetle Nether? No. Yeah. Twisting. Okay. So we've seen throughout this tournament how careful Maverick has been with his Twisting Nethers throughout, and now having to use it on just 2 incredibly small minions shows how much pressure he's under right now from the Priest.
Yeah, it also shows how little pressure he thinks the Priest can generate, especially when he's got the second Nether.
It's true.
So he can afford for it to be a little bit throwaway. Same with the Hellfire earlier and the Voodoo Doll earlier.
Maybe this is the second Nether turn, actually.
Okay. But,
the second Nether just reduces the amount of cards that Scruffy can draw with this Acolyte.
But he can play Doomsayer now, which will allow him to start getting some board presence with the Rin.
That's right. It prevents the Alexstrasza from coming down this turn. As Maverick knows, he doesn't have a way of dealing with Alexstrasza if it were to come down this turn. His Spellstone only deals 7 damage, and there's no additional damage in his hand.
And this was his plan all along, I think, with the Beetle play, because he knows this armor is safe. You don't want your armor chipped away.
That's right.
It's not going to be chipped away. And let's see him start to populate the board with some bits and pieces now. Might start with Voidlord.
Voidlord is so weak to Twilight Acolyte Cabal Shadow.
Sure, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. This is much better.
Well, he could play Voidlord and Sacrificial Pact straight away, but again, he may want to save the Sacrificial Pact until after an Alexstrasza has come down or until after Anduin has hit the board or something.
And this is not the first time we have seen both Gul'dan and Anduin just hiding at the bottom of both players' decks. And these games get really weird when that happens.
Yeah.
But what happened last time we saw it is that Rin was hiding there as well. You don't really have time to go for the Rin thing, except in these matches where this happens. You just want to Gul'dan and have a nice, happy life.
Yeah, Maverick doesn't want to take the 3 damage from this Duskbreaker, but dealing with it is so awkward. Stonehill Defender, he's hoping to just block its path. He can take another
Lurker's
Void Lord,
nice.
but it's too expensive. Lurker fits in this turn.
And it doesn't kill you if it gets stolen.
Felguard also fits in this turn. The losing a mana crystal doesn't matter at all. I think we're long past that point. We're at 10 mana now.
Yeah, so you just get it back immediately next turn. It's not gone forever or anything like that.
Void Lord is just so slow, but again with Sacrificial Pact, it's okay.
Yep, it seems that he wants to make sure there's a demon in his hand and maybe even start playing some stuff out. Interesting what his plan exactly is for that.
4th seal. Only 2 more seals remaining, and then Azari can come down, blowing up Scruffy's deck, potentially blowing up Shadow Reaper Anduin.
Yeah, Scruffy will be panicking. Well, he's already done a bit of panicking anyway, drawing some cards. Not in a bad way, just in a natural way. Shadow Visions.
Ooh,
There's still that other Mind Blast in the deck.
Yeah, this is the 3rd Mind Blast, potentially. 1 being already played, the 2nd one being drawn, and now Shadow Visions potentially getting the 3rd one. Wow, okay. We're gonna play that combo, meaning Maverick will now feel a little bit safer to play his Void Lords.
Right. Stealing the beetle, effectively doing 3 to face.
That said, if a Void Lord is played now, it gets silenced, and a lot of damage goes face straight away.
Hellfire seems like a good pickup then.
Hellfire seems like a good pickup, but now...
Maverick can lose from where he sat.
Thinking back to earlier, Hellfire will not buff that Spellstone. However, Maverick did play a Spellstone that only had 5 earlier. If he played the bigger Spellstone earlier, he'd have healed for another 2, and now would have buffed this one. That's not to say that he was wrong in what he did earlier. It made sense at the time. But over time, it's funny to see how that can change and how that can go just a little bit wrong.
Yeah, every decision you make in Hearthstone, even the ones that look completely obvious, not always, but a lot of them aren't as obvious as you think, and that's a really good spot to point that out. Of course, the reason he held on to the bigger one is because if he gets Alexstrasza, he wants to be able to heal immediately for 7.
Exactly.
So that's why he did it his way.
But now he doesn't have either of them. And Alexstrasza is kind of free to come down.
It is.
But no, Scruffy's going to go for the 3rd Mind Blast. Given that there's only 2 choices in the deck.
All right, the fight for the board begins now. It's begun ages ago, but it begins in earnest now. If Maverick loses board at any point, he just loses this game.
Wait, Gul'dan comes down, but has the Void Lord actually died yet? I don't
think so.
Don't believe so.
But there's Rin things have died, and he gains 5 armor.
Alaki got silenced earlier, didn't it?
Alaki did indeed get silenced. But there have been Rin minions. And getting Gul'dan as quickly as possible is really important so you can start gaining 3 health the second you're Alexed. And at some point, you just have to take a chance. You don't die.
Oh no, Void Lord. The Void Lord was destroyed.
Okay, this makes far more sense.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Now, Sacrificial Pact.
Oh, he didn't use the Master Spells. We thought he was going to, but he saved it.
Of course he didn't. But now, Sacrificial Pact can be played at some point in the future as well. And just blocking this board makes life very difficult for Scruffy. Yeah, Master Spell can squeeze in 5 damage now. But 3 health a turn we're talking now. This is where the Warlock can start to get over that really difficult hurdle. That said...
Only fires even more damage.
15 available from next turn. It's not enough yet.
No, there's just so much healing for now, but again, you can't... You can heal with the hero power every single turn, that doesn't cost you anything, but in terms of getting out of Alexstrasza range, there's not a lot that Maverick can do apart from cling onto that sack pack for dear life, and also try to lower the time before that happens by hitting Scruffy with stuff as quickly as possible. Make Scruffy have to actually heal himself, waste some mana. And don't forget, the Rin minions, even if you forget about Azari, are going to be 5/5 and 6/6 next time that Maverick finds an opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Harrison's dead any way you want.
Yep, and now I feel like I've said this several times and been wrong this game. I'm going to try it again. Now Maverick playing a Void Lord should be somewhat safe. It's a shame it means he won't be able to use his hero power that
He's
turn.
going to set up lethal. I think this sets up lethal.
Set up lethal?
I think so.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't counted it, but it looks like a lot, and a lot is usually lethal.
Yeah, 25 damage available next turn, including the hero power. So
That's a lot.
That is a lot. A lot does set up lethal. Scruffy has his work cut out for him to get past this. Psychic Scream will buy him time, but again, Maverick only has 2 cards left in his deck. He doesn't want to add to that.
Yeah, the Psychic Screams, if they get played in this, really ruin your game plan. But you know what else ruins your game plan? It's having your deck blown up.
Yeah.
That really hurts your plan.
Yeah, I mean, but Psychic Scream being played now just opens the door for Maverick to do that. 3 cards left in Scruffy's deck. He hasn't drawn Shadow Reaper Anduin yet. It's looking like Maverick may just about be able to pull this one off. What can Scruffy do?
Well, he can Divine Him, Holy Fire, and heal his own face and not die. I don't know how that actually helps him win this game of Hearthstone, but that's the thing he can do. And then Mind Blast things.
If he doesn't clear anything on the board, Maverick can't play Azari the Devourer, but does he just die? 5 damage?
Yeah.
No, he's safe on board if he Holy Fires the face and heals his own face.
But how? Yeah, but how does he? I mean, he's got to do it because if he can't find anything else, that keeps him alive for one more turn.
How does he win? 3 Mind Blasts next turn. Oops, no, that's 16 health, not 15. So, good question.
I'm almost out of cards.
And there's still one more card for Maverick, so he won't take the 1 fatigue, and he's going to be on 19 anyway.
Unfortunately for Scruffy, Maverick does run the card Sacrificial Pact in his deck, which does free up a board space if Maverick even needs to.
He'll play the Sack Pact right now. Whether he thinks he needs to or not, I think,
well,
at this point, I trust him to count beyond anybody else, but just play it just in case you've miscounted or you've had an accident or something.
Alex Straza does nothing to take this game back. Scruffy drops the well played, and Maverick is going to be the champion of Dreamhack Tour, the first HCT Grand Prix. Cora, what a well-deserved winner we have here.
Absolutely well-deserved, and I think that Maverick throughout this entire tournament he just had it going for him. Look at that look on his face, relief, joy. He had such an incredible run through this tournament with that warrior deck, especially like we said before, but even without it, he just plays so well. He's a hometown hero here, obviously, as a member of Arma team, though he is, in fact, Belgian.
Yeah, careful
but what an incredible run for him. Congratulations to Scruffy for making it all the way to the finals, but your champion is, in fact, Maverick. What an awesome couple of days of Hearthstone it was, and I think we can get our champion in here in just a minute. We're going to get an interview with him, get him all headsetted up, and present him with a pretty nice little trophy alternative we actually have this time around for Dreamhack Tours. But all in all, an incredible 3 days it has been at Dreamhack Tours, and I don't think it could have honestly ended up with a more deserving champion. Everybody, your Dreamhack Tours champion, it is Maverick. All right, man. How are you doing? What's going through your head right now?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm still kind of stressed by my games, and yeah, that was pretty close.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
At what point did you realise that you're never ever going to be Belgian again now you've won here in France?
I mean, I always win matches in France, so people expected that, but yeah.
All right.
But I don't win anywhere else.
Something we have to talk about is obviously the warrior deck. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it in the finals, but walk us through, what were you thinking when you added that deck to your lineup?
I mean, I am practicing a lot with Odemian. He's a big fan of warrior, and he made all the list by himself and just gave it to me. He helped me like preparing the matchups and stuff, so big credits to him. And can you guess the score of the warrior through the tournament?
It's really high. You swept several times with it.
I don't know. I bet it's pretty good.
17 and 5.
16 and 2.
16 and 2?
16 and 2.
Oh, crap.
That was quite a good deck then.
That was
Worked
cool.
nicely.
How many times did it get banned?
Only in the final.
Just the one time. Wow.
So they finally worked
Someone
it out.
wasn't paying attention to that win rate then. I think it's safe to say.
That is absolutely incredible. But for people out there who may not know, just a little bit of general information about yourself. You are on Arma team. You've been playing Hearthstone for so long now, but this is your first Dreamhack Grand Prix Championship, yes?
Yeah, and it feels great because, yeah, like you said, I'm playing for a long time now. In 2017, I had a kind of bad year on competitive Hearthstone. So, yeah, it feels great to be back.
That was the caster's fault. We kept saying all that year, Maverick, the man to watch. You've got no chance when we do that. You have to wait till we shut up, and you've proved us all wrong by shutting up. You're glad you shut us up again.
Hey, we were all behind your back for this one.
Exactly, we were.
kept saying Maverick was going to take it. But what can we look forward to seeing you in the future? Now, this is the start of the Dreamhack circuit for the year, but obviously HCT points for the next season have started. Are you shooting for playoffs? Are you shooting for world championships this year?
As always, I'm trying to qualify for playoffs and then do my best there. Last playoffs, I went 0-4, which is not that great, but yeah, I'm always there.
I think you've redeemed yourself this time around. A 16-2 record with that Warrior deck. And now, your Dreamhack champion, Falk, would you please present the man with his trophy box in this case, although there is a little something inside. Maverick, congratulations on winning this tournament. It's been an absolutely incredible run and such a joy to get to watch you play. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just a big thank you to the French community. They are always supporting us, especially now that we are playing in France. And yeah, big thanks to them. I was always checking my notifications on Twitter, and yeah, the support is just great.
It's a very passionate community, that is absolutely for sure. But again, congratulations, Maverick, an incredible run. And we have been having such an incredible time here over the last couple of days, but that is going to do it. The door is officially closed on the Dreamhack HCT Grand Prix in Tours, France. An awesome first Dreamhack Grand Prix here in Tours. And that is only the first Dreamhack Grand Prix of the year. We will be back June 1st through the 3rd in Austin, Texas this time. We are going to North America for our next Dreamhack event. And then after that, we have Dreamhack Winter in Sweden. So thank you all so much for tuning in over the course of these 3 days. Congratulations to Maverick and all of our top 16 competitors. And we will be seeing you guys soon. From everybody here at Dreamhack, have a great night.